So I'd like to welcome everyone today to this very special event in Paul Regan Hall here at the Halifax Central Library. My name is Heather McKenzie, and I'm the president of the Atlantic Book Awards Society. I was not supposed to be the MC though this morning. Unfortunately, our planned MC, author Lindsay Ruck, was unable to come and host today due to illness, but she has recorded a brief video message as her welcome to the event. So we're going to play that now to get things started.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was so looking forward to hosting this event and being at the library in person. And since that is no longer possible, I'm very grateful to those who rallied on short notice to ensure that I could still share a greeting virtually. In particular, I'd like to thank Russell Gross from the Black Cultural Center and Heather McKenzie with the Halifax Public Library. I am located in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I recognize the peace and friendship treaties signed between the British Crown and the Mi'kmaq from 1760 to 1769. We are treaty people, and we have rights and responsibilities as Mi'kmaq and settlers alike. There is a wonderful afternoon planned, including hearing from the gentleman who brought us all together today to celebrate this amazing new award. Senator Oliver asked if I would say a few words on my own personal experience as an author and also now as a publisher with the Delmore Buddy Day Learning Institute. When Senator Oliver shared his great desire to create this new book prize, I immediately started thinking about when my first book was nominated for a book award. And no, this is not a shameless plug. It's a biography about my grandfather, the late Senator Calvin Ruck. I wrote that book for a few reasons. The first being, I knew if my grandfather could have done so, and had he not been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, that he would have written it himself. I was also motivated by the story. It's a story of social justice, a story of racism and discrimination, but also a story of resilience and determination. And I wrote it because I love to tell stories, and I just love to write. Writing can be a very solitary profession, if we are so lucky to even call it a profession. It's hours, days, months, and in my case, many years of trying to find the right words, to make the right sentences, which will form the perfect paragraphs and combined are turned into a pretty little package that we hope will end up on someone's bookshelf. An author writes because there are stories inside of us just bursting to get out. Whether my grandfather's biography would have been published or not, I knew I still needed to write it. I needed to give his incredible story a home. There are so many stories that need to be told. There are so many voices that need to be not only heard, but also appreciated and understood. And sometimes telling those stories is not easy. And breaking into a literary world as a Black author is even harder sometimes. That's just one of the reasons why this new book prize is so important. Yes, it's validating, praising, and amplifying someone's work, but it's also giving Black writers a chance to breathe. A chance, if only for a moment, to celebrate and acknowledge the amount of hours they poured into doing what they just love to do. And hopefully, once they take that moment of celebration, it gives them enough motivation to pick up their pen once again and write another story. Thank you, Senator Oliver, for this gift to a community who has so much to give and so many stories to tell. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, everyone.
Thank you virtually, Lindsay, and I hope I can fill her shoes. I know she really misses being with us today. So it's my pleasure to say a few words on behalf of the Atlantic Book Awards Society. Again, I want to thank you so much for joining us today for this very special event, the launch of the Senator Donald Oliver Young Black Voices Book Prize. When Senator Oliver approached me at our Book Awards Gala in June with his idea for this award and his hope that it could become part of the Atlantic Book Awards group of prizes, I was excited by the opportunity this provided. To be a truly regional Book Awards organization, we must strive to ensure that the diversity of our regional writing community is reflected in our awards and other activities, enabling young writers from all communities to find their voice and their audience. This new award enables us to take a significant step forward in this direction. And as we noted when developing the parameters for this award, Atlantic Black voices have much to tell us, whether rooted in the region for generations or newer voices from the African diaspora. Fostering and sharing these stories will contribute to intercultural understanding and promote the values of diversity and inclusion in the unique way that only great writing can do. In addition, since youth are the future, this award will especially encourage young writers, ages 35 and under, to find their voice and share their stories with the world. The prize will acknowledge the young writer's achievement in the presentation of aspects of the cultural, historical, and socio-political situation of Canadians of African descent. The award will consider fiction and nonfiction in alternate years, beginning with fiction in 2023 for the first award, and it will be exciting to see what works will be submitted and what new young Black writers we will discover. The shortlist will be announced in March 2023 and the winner at the Atlantic Book Awards Gala in June. It is truly an honor for our society to add this award to our group, and it joins two other awards, part of the Nova Scotia Book Awards, that also celebrate the creative vision and contributions of two other outstanding Black Nova Scotians, the George Gordon Writing for Change Award and the Maxine Tynes Nova Scotia Poetry Award. On a personal note, it was a privilege and a pleasure to work with Senator Oliver in developing the framework for this award and getting us to where we are today. And also, many thanks are also due to Lindsay Ruck for her assistance in so many other ways as well. Before closing, I just want to share some practical information on how books can be submitted for the award. The submission deadline is November 1st, and the full eligibility criteria and submission forms can be found on our website at atlanticbookawards.ca. In addition, I have copies of the submission form here today if anyone would like to take one. Please help us spread the word. Also, if anyone here would like to be on the jury for the award, just speak to me afterwards. In closing, I just want to thank Senator Oliver so much again for his vision in creating this award and the energy, time, and commitment he has given to make this project a reality. It is a wonderful legacy he is giving us today that will provide us with wonderful new stories from young creators for years to come. Thank you. And our event today is also being live streamed, and I'd like to thank Russell Gross and the Black Cultural Center for facilitating that and making the event available via live stream as well. Russell is the Executive Director of the Black Cultural Center in Halifax and dedicates his time to preserving the past, amplifying community initiatives and voices, and celebrating African Nova Scotian history and heritage. So please welcome for his words to us today, Russell Gross.
Good afternoon. What a beautiful afternoon this is. A historic afternoon. So greetings, honored guests, Your Honor, senators, Senator Oliver, good friend and mentor. Today is a proud day for Black Canadians as the Senator Donald Oliver Young Black Voices Prize is launched. The prize will provide an important path for encouragement, growth, and elevation of young Black writers, something that will be unparalleled. In our Black communities, the tradition of storytelling and sharing our history has been passed down from generation to generation for decades. But for the most part, that has been an oral history. The medium of oral histories don't always last. They're passed down from generation to generation. As people pass on, the stories change. But the medium of writing creates a lasting record of these stories and also makes these stories available to the broader audience, to encourage them to learn, to discover, to develop a greater understanding of one of Canada's founding cultures. Senator Oliver is a mentor, friend, and trailblazer who over the decades has been pivotal in the growth of Black culture and heritage in many facets that help us protect, preserve, and promote our history. His latest book, A Matter of Equality, speaks of his life's works and his contributions to Canada's diverse landscape. It provides a peek into the agent of change that Senator Oliver has been and continues to be. I would dare to say that without his written work, a lot of his great contributions wouldn't be known. It shows us the example of why written works are so important. It is more than fitting that this book prize be offered in his honor, and it's a true testament of his desire to pass the mantle, to encourage young Black writers from across Canada to have a voice through their published works. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Black Cultural Center and Society, we are so pleased with the Atlantic Book Awards Society, along with Senator Oliver, in creating this change today that will allow our stories to be encouraged, to be shared, and most importantly, to elevate our young Black writers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Russell. And thanks again for facilitating the live stream for us today. We're very delighted today also to have some musical entertainment and a very special musical guest who I'm going to introduce now. And our special guest today is Emmanuel Solomon, and he's with his accompanist, Greg Myra. Emmanuel is one of the up-and-coming new solo artists in Halifax, whose musical styles span many genres, from classical to gospel, pop, and Euro-Afro fusion. He's originally from Nigeria, a musical scholar from Nigeria, and a graduate of the Fountain School of Performing Arts at Dalhousie University, concentrating in vocal performance. And he won the recipient of the James and Abby Campbell Graduation Prize for his high academic excellence in music. He has performed and competed both locally, nationally, and internationally, winning many honors and awards. And right now he's also exploring his passion for teaching other young singers as well. We're delighted to have Emmanuel here today. He's going to perform a number for us, so I'd like to welcome Emmanuel and Greg to the stage.
for me, for me. For me.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Wow. I must confess, Emmanuel's my neighbor, so I get to hear the practices. It's quite a treat to have opera students next door to you instead of some usual musical students, student music that you might hear. So I'm spoiled that way. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Emmanuel, so much. All right. So this award, as we said before, is all about encouraging and nurturing young writers. And we're very pleased to have a young writer here today, Andre Fenton. And Andre is an award-winning author, spoken word artist, and filmmaker who has represented Halifax at 7 national poetry slams across Canada. This year, the sequel to Andre's debut novel, Worthy of Love, was released by Formac Publishing. The Summer Between Us looks at several themes of growing up from a biracial teen's perspective. So please welcome Andre Fenton.
Hi everybody. I was gonna fix this mic. It's a big honor and privilege to speak here today as part of this award. And I'm a young adult author who spends most of my time speaking in schools, teaching young people how to write poetry. It's as terrifying as it sounds, but there's a lot of magic in the process of learning their stories. And I've been doing this for the past 5 years of my life. And one thing I'm learning every day is that being a Black writer is so much more than just being an artist, but this is a responsibility. And it's put on our shoulders as we honor those who came before us while committing to do justice for those that surround us. It's a window to paint our lived experiences in a way that connects with others that have that same lived experience, and it's breaking free from the stereotypes that are put on us to create a world that's more authentic. Representation has always been the focal point of my work and many other writers who look like me. And I'm sure growing up, a lot of us never really had the opportunity to see ourselves outside of those boxes, but these days I find my strength in writing stories about Black boys finding softness and Black girls discovering magic. And this is our resistance, this is our resilience, and this is our wonder, and this is our community. And I'm beyond thrilled to hear about the Don Oliver Award that recognizes Black writers, because we have so many young people in our community who want to be creators, but they're making that jump. But this changes everything. This changes the landscape for emerging writers in our community to shine. And this encourages them to take that leap of faith, knowing that they're going to land in a new world where they can create a more authentic place. And I'm so excited to see what that looks like. My name is Andre Fenton. It is such an honor to be here. And thank you, Senator Oliver, for having me today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andre. Thank you for being here with us today as well. We now want to just take a minute to acknowledge and thank the several sponsors that we had that helped make this event happen today. This afternoon would not have been possible without the support of the Halifax Public Libraries, the Black Cultural Center, the Atlantic Book Awards Society, Nimbus Publishing, and the Delmore Buddy Day Learning Institute. So let's have a clap for all of our sponsors. Next, we're going to hear from Sylvia Paris Drummond, who is the CEO of the Delmore Buddy Day Learning Institute, also known as the DVD-LI. The DVD-LI is celebrating its 10th anniversary next month, and within that decade, it has produced important resources and publications to educate on and celebrate Black history and heritage. We are so pleased to have Sylvia with us today to share a few words. Sylvia.
Heather, and thanks to all the partner collaborators that have come together to have this momentous event acknowledged in the way that seems most appropriate, with community gathered together in a place where we celebrate the importance of books and reading and the learning that we get from that. So as was said, my name is Sylvia. My pronouns are she, her. And Dalmore Buddy Day is located here in Chiltuk, in Halifax, in Wellgate, in Nova Scotia. And so I look out here, and so I need to acknowledge Her Honor Mayor Francis. Thank you for being here. I see also Senator Wanda Thomas Bernard. And if I had a support at the display table there, would be able to haul up her book, a resource that is one in a series of ones that's telling the community stories, the African Nova Scotian community stories that are such a strong piece when we talk about that we are here on the shoulders of those who come before us. Oh, my goodness, how are you doing over there? Nice to see you. Community elder with us in presence. And so it's important that we're tangible in the ways that we do this, and that we kind of create the spaces for the stories to be told. And as Russell has said, we are proud of our oral tradition, and we acknowledge that those stories and those voices are important in ways to capture them in print. And for what we do at Dalmore Buddy Day Learning Institute and other formats is important as well. So I have to say that in terms of Senator Oliver's vision on this, acknowledge as well, thank you for the leadership in that. Sometimes when things happen and they go well, we're kind of like, oh, that's great. But I think we also need to remember the steps and the trotting forward that had to happen to make that happen. So we're here in this celebratory journey, but I always want to acknowledge as well the journey is often not smooth. So thank you deeply again for this work that you've done and the collaboration to make this happen. So at Dalmore Buddy Day Learning Institute, a few years ago during the COVID time, we had launched something called the African Nova Scotian Voices Speaking. And it was an initiative that we did with the regional centers of education, formerly known as school boards, for folks across the province. And it was fabulous to hear young folks telling stories through spoken word, through poetry, to written pieces that were submitted as well. And I tell you, one piece that I'm particularly drawn to, Senator Oliver, and how you shaped up this award. The history is really important. We're focusing on that in terms of what we do. Our heritage, our culture is really important, but I love seeing socio-political. I love the idea that we're acknowledging that we have the opportunity with one voice speaking, one voice writing, to be about change that can happen. And so a space, again, that encourages that supports that through recognition and through an understanding that we have that currently in our young voices speaking, that we have that now in our young voices writing. There's a lot happening across Atlantic Canada. Again, we've been able to be part of collaborations that have had us meet each other, Zoom, some most parts, but in that virtual format, and talk and share the stories in terms of young folks. So I really want to acknowledge that, and I have to say, Andre, I see you every time I run into you, how much I love you and support you. And I think we need to say that to each other all the time. I love you, I support you, we're there for you. This journey is like collectively, it's important how we understand us and to being in communal and an Afrocentric way that we are together for each other. So in terms of again, across Connect, you heard from our publisher leading our Afrocentric publishing program from Lindsay Rupp. We're pleased to be launching that in a kind of re-envisioned way, in that we're not solely focused on manuscripts that come in and supporting those authors. We're also looking to grow authors. So I see, again, lots of opportunity for collaboration through this book award because we want to hold hands with folks and support them on their journey and value the way that we do things on our journey and in this go forward. So we're thrilled to have been provided the opportunity to be a collaborator in this work. We look forward to future opportunities. And I would be remiss if I didn't invite folks who have stories budding inside them to think about them and think about us. And, you know, like any space, we will have a framework that will help you decide, is this a place for me? Is this a place where I want to be? Will this work for me? So we have all those kinds of things too to make our journey and conversation going forward smooth as possible. But we are there for those conversations. And I also want to acknowledge that I acknowledge resources that are coming from young voices that we have already. So I think we have our COVID story that was co-developed with young folks as well. And maybe after, if it's appropriate, I'm going to draw a spotlight to you, Senator Bernard, if maybe we could have that family conversation about how that book developed and how that supported us, understanding a journey of going through COVID and what that was like through young voices speaking and written forward. So thank you once again for this opportunity to be together here and so much champion the work that has happened, and we were pleased as well to be part of a virtual book launch with Senator Oliver as well, because, as was said already, the story of that journey is also inspirational for us, so we may see some offshoot resources coming up from that. Thank you once again, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Sylvia. At this point, I just want to take a brief note also to acknowledge that we're so grateful to have CTV as our media partner with the Atlantic Book Awards, and we're delighted that Paul Hollingsworth could join us this morning for filming the event. And just so you know, we'll be featured tonight on the CTV Evening News at 5 p.m., so we're really grateful for that coverage and grateful for our ongoing partnership with CTV as our media partner. So thank you, Paul, and thanks to CTV for being here. And now it's my very great honor to introduce the man whose vision has brought us all here together today, Senator Donald Oliver. And the paragraph that I have as per introduction doesn't really do him justice. Those of you who know him well know what he's accomplished during his life. And for me, to sum him up in one line would be someone who has always worked to make people's lives better. Black lives for sure, but everyone's life through his commitment to social justice, working to eliminate racism, promoting diversity and inclusion. Throughout his career, no matter what he was doing, in government or without, to me it's all about making people's lives better. And I think that's really the essence of the man. But I will give a few of the factual pieces for sure. The Honorable Donald H. Oliver, CM, ONS, and QC, retired as a member of the Senate of Canada in 2013 after 23 years of service. He was a lawyer, professor, farmer, businessman, author, and cordon bleu chef, just to add that on to the end as well, and a senator who rose to serve with distinction as Deputy Speaker in the Senate of Canada, as chairman of 6 standing committees of Parliament, as chairman or deputy chairman of 7 interparliamentary associations, and as a ubiquitous spokesperson for diversity, pluralism, fairness, and equality, for which he was awarded 5 honorary doctorate degrees from Canadian universities. A Matter of Equality, the life's work of Senator Donald Oliver, was published in 2021 by Nimbus Publishing and was shortlisted for the Margaret and John Savage First Book Award last year at the Atlantic Book Awards. It is now my very great pleasure to welcome Senator Donald Oliver.
thank you very much, Heather, for that introduction. I would like to acknowledge the Honorable Mayanne Francis, the Honorable Wanda Bernard, the Honorable Wayne Adams, and other officials here today, and thank you very, very much for coming. It is deeply appreciated. I appreciate your coming out to the official launch of this exciting new prize for young Black writers. I really appreciate your support very much. While it takes dozens of people working diligently for hours to carry off something like this, as was the case here, I especially want to single out the tremendous support and work done by Heather Mackenzie. Thank you very much, Heather.
Thank you, Sam.
And our MC virtually, Lindsay Ruck. And I want to add to that Russell Gross, who came in at the last minute to help out with live streaming and many other things. Thank you very much, Russell. So, why another book prize? After publishing A Matter of Equality with Nimbus, I began to learn a little bit about the politics of being a book writer. And I want to assure you there's a lot to it. In the process of my education, there was nothing I could find supporting young, emerging Black writers, particularly those who might want to publish their works. A number of the prizes in Canada, as they exist now, with exceptions of course, are for between $1,500 and $2,500. And I wanted something a little more that could be an incentive and encouragement to those Blacks who have the potential and the talent to rank among tomorrow's leading Canadian writers. So it's $3,500, with great potential for growth, thanks to inflation and personal gifts to the endowment. Now that would make a nice prize in about 5 years' time. I want to help build and enlarge cultural interest and capacity in our communities as these writers tell the stories that show the struggle, the pain, the sorrow, and the joy of being Black. They will make for powerful yet very enjoyable reading, be they either fiction or nonfiction. It is my hope that the prize will encourage young Black writers to find their voices, to share their stories with the world. The prize will acknowledge young writers' achievements in the presentation of aspects of cultural, historical, socio-political situations of people of African descent. I am delighted that my autobiography that describes family, joy, and social pain from the insidious anti-Black systemic racism that was present everywhere in the province of Nova Scotia when I was growing up in Wolfville, will now, with government approval and support, have several copies of my book in libraries in every single school in the province with high school grades 10 and 12. A Matter of Equality describes my growing up Black in Nova Scotia in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, the war and post-war years. It's not a political book, but it's a goodwill and with some humor as well. It discusses the evils of white privilege and how it has divided our society. But I also discuss many of the positive things that bring tolerance and equality to Canada. Our new young Black writers born 50 years from those wartime days that I talked about will write fascinating recollections and stories learned from listening to their elders, but even more importantly, from their own worldly experiences where racism still exists. They will just let their literary passion and imagination give license to their fingers to take up pen and write. I hope this new book can be a real inspiration to them and that Canada will be enriched by what they produce. Thank you again very much for coming.
Thank you so much, Senator. It's been a real honor and privilege. I know Lindsay feels the same to work with you on this project. And it will be an exciting and proud moment indeed in the spring when we award that first prize to a young writer. And I know we can't wait to see who that will be. So I'd like to thank you all for coming out this morning. I'd also like to thank everyone who's joining us through the live stream. It's a great way to expand an audience for an event like this. So we hope there's lots of folks out there watching the live stream or who will watch it as well. Thank you to all of our speakers this morning, Emmanuel for performing, and our sponsors. And again, of course, thank you, Senator, for making this new prize a reality. Please, no need to rush off. We have some lovely refreshments behind the screen there provided by Uptown Catering. So please stay and have a bite of light lunch with us. And we also have an information table behind me from the Delmore Buddy Day Institutes that has some information about their activities. So please stay for a while, enjoy some refreshments, and have a wonderful afternoon. So thank you so much for coming on behalf of all of us. Thank you.